Good morning, gang. Happy Wednesday morning. Not raining, but it looks like it might. So we'll see what happens. So I got a question for you. Depending on where you are, whether, knowing the demographics of the channel here, United States, Canada, some in Europe, etc. Can your city, can your state or province, can your country handle mass immigration due to the food crisis? Okay. How much are you paying at the grocery store? How much food is actually available for the people there now? Can you handle more? Why do I ask? Well, apparently there are roughly 20 million people in Africa who are either voluntarily or being assisted to migrate to Europe and North America because of the food crisis. 20 million. It's a lot. Okay. How do those people get fed? How do those people get housed? Power. Can we talk about that? Then let's talk about Joke Biden and his little press conference yesterday with the Mexican president. Quote from Biden: "Last year, my administration set a record. We issued more than 300,000 H-2 visas for Mexican workers. We also reached a 5-year high in visas that we issued to Central Americas, and we're on pace to double that in this fiscal year for Central America." Okay. What does that mean? That means, again, a lot of this is food crisis or whatever it would be. But if you have all this migration going on, that puts pressure on cities, states, provinces, countries, whatsoever, to have more food, to have more housing, to have more power generation, to have more roads, to have more schools, to have all this. What does it take away? Well, it takes away your ability to earn money to pay for it. All right. Right now, there are 11.5 million job openings in the United States. There are 14.73 million employable Americans. All right. So there's 3.23 million more workers than there are open jobs. Why do we need to be importing more people? Because an H-2 visa is basically a work visa. Why are we importing people to do jobs? And I know somebody said, well, because the Americans won't go pick strawberries in the fields or whatever it would be. Trust me, if that's the only way you get money to buy groceries, to pay your rent or whatever, you'll go pick strawberries. All right. Stop with the welfare handouts and have a baby get a check, and maybe you'll see some of this going on. The reason why we've got supposedly have to import these people is because we have too many people that are too comfortable living off of the government tea. Now, how does this affect you and me as preppers? And I know some of you are well into retirement. Some of you are on fixed income. Some of you are 30 years old and just starting in your careers. Okay, so we run the gamut. So again, there is no one answer for all this. There's no one size fits all. You need to start making plans now. Figuring out now. If you own a home, this one probably won't, provided you have a fixed rate mortgage or your house is paid off. That's not going to affect you. How are you going to, if you rent, how are you going to pay the ever-increasing rents? Because again, it's supply and demand. You start bringing in 300,000 people legally. however many we have coming in illegally, all right, that's going to drive rents up. We start getting people moving from Africa, people moving from Ukraine, people moving from the Middle East, wherever it's going to be, to civilized countries, okay, whether it's Europe or North America, because Asia won't take them, okay, just so you guys know. I mean, you can't really move to Korea or move to Japan. They won't let you. So how are you going to deal with the effects of rising rent? How are you going to deal with the effects of rising electricity, or, I'm sorry, it's 115 degrees and we have to shut it off because we can't handle it? I.e., hello, Texas. How are you going to deal with that? Do you have some sort of backup generation for yourself? Screw everybody else, guys, at this point, okay? It's time you look out for number one. All this, oh, we need to be nice to our neighbors, and we need to be nice to the foreigners who are coming in, the immigrants. Screw that, okay? It's time you worry about number one, and that's it, all right? What are you going to do when food is prohibitively expensive? I mean, it's expensive now, but I'm saying, what are you going to do when food is not affordable? There is nowhere else to stretch out the budget. I mean, there was a story yesterday. I want to say it was Aldi. I'm not sure who's going to stop taking credit cards because of inflation. And you guys know the merchant has to pay a fee to Visa or MasterCard or whatever when somebody pays their credit card. But they have a sign out front that says, due to high inflation, we are no longer going to be accepting credit cards in an effort to keep prices down for people. Okay, because merchant pays usually 2%, 3% of the sale to the credit card company. That's highway robbery. But so people aren't going to be able to finance their groceries coming soon. Okay, cash, that's it. Or food stamps or whatever it would be. Which, that's the next thing I want to get into, guys. Our government is broke. I mean, broke. And as interest rates keep going up, as I've said before, watch the 10-year. We know where it is now, and I told you we'd be in panic time, and we are. The government does not have the money to pay welfare, food stamps, whatever, any of these social programs or whatever. So all they can do is borrow it, which the borrowing, of course, comes at a higher interest rate, which all that does is drive up inflation. So it's a perpetual circle that gets it worse and worse and worse and worse. More people, less supply of everything. Inflation is inevitable. The economic crash, guys, we're at the cusp. We're standing at the edge of the abyss, and we're looking over the corner, or over the edge. I don't understand how nobody can see this. You can't. What's going on in the economy. But apparently, Democrats think that there's going to be some rainbow-covered, non-farting unicorn that's going to fly over everybody and go, miraculously everything's okay. And my bet is, like a lot of you guys have said, the whole intention for all these countries around the world is for the Great Reset, where the world just goes, all debts are wiped away for the governments. That's it. Effective immediately, nobody owes anybody anything. Whatever you have is yours. End of story. Somehow they're going to do that because everybody owes everybody and nobody can pay it. And we're the ones that are going to suffer. You need to be making these plans now because there's a ton of people that when this completely goes hell-bent for leather, they're not going to have a clue. When rent all of a sudden doubles, and they go, I can't afford rent. There aren't any other cheap places. Where are they going to go? When food prices continue to go up, and they go, I can't afford food. I can't afford my electric bill. I can't afford gasoline. I mean, there's only so much money people have. You can only be stretched so thin. Have a good Wednesday.